Alright, so here we go. Tribal versus Naga. Alright, so we got the inner focus here is Naga in red playing the Way, one of the new civs that focuses on cavalry. Naga is scripted by Promi. The old version, the Naga is basically a different branch of what used to be the Promi AI. The Promi AI became the default DE AI. And then Alpha took over the development of that AI a few years ago, and since then, Promi has been working on Naga, which is based off the same code, but of course does different things than the AI, and still kind of has a lot of the focuses that Promi enjoyed having an AI. I think it's probably most famous for favoring economy and booming and TCs over many other aspects of the AI. Basically focusing on the macro side of things. And then for Tribal, as an AI that's kind of known for the exact opposite, known for kind of having an aggressive skirmisher strategy, but it can, of course, do a whole bunch of other things. And Tribal has been one of the top AIs in our AI scripting stream scene for quite a while now. Scripted by Esti, who also made the Odette AI that's in this tournament. And Odessi has a whole bunch of really good AIs out there. So I think in this game we'll see if it's we'll probably see Tribal go for the aggressive fleshing strategy, and I think it will be a test to see if Naga can stand up to that pressure to be able to get to its main strength, which is the later parts of the game. So, unlike the last series, we've got no ILTC from either AI. Naga's got both of the elephants in, and same with the Tribal. Tribal has this nice double force in the back with the lumber camp exactly between them. Almost looks like a bird flying in through the air. And then we got the gold in the front, as well as the berries. So Tribal's a bit exposed, but that might not matter too much if Tribal can stay on the offensive. Meanwhile, Naga has some forge berries and stone, but the gold is far enough back to be in a good spot, and we got the wood off to the sides, so those could be somewhat vulnerable. But Arabia is an open map, so there's not really much you can do about being open, unless you were to wall in, but most AIs can't do that. So Naga's got Loom coming. Might be preparing to go up to Feudal Age, and I think Tribal will be preparing to do the same thing here pretty soon. So Naga is the first to start researching Feudal Age, going up at 21 pop. And I wonder if we might see Tribal. Yep, the Tribal's going up at 23 pop, so 2 villagers slower, which may or may not be a bad thing. And Tribal's saying, I will explore by the right. And I'm kind of curious to see if that means right from Tribal's perspective, if you're to look at Naga's town. So right being north of Naga's town. Alright, so we got, is that TC going to take down the scout? Nope, because TC still can't hit anything. We'll see if that changes after the patch. Got a barracks from Tribal. And an archer range from Naga. And we got a scout battle here, which Naga should win pretty easily, especially since Tribal isn't fighting back. So just looking at the resources being gathered, I'm guessing Naga's going to go for archers. Ooh, we got a, looks like a tower rush coming from Tribal. That ghost tower. So let's see, do we have the villagers coming forward yet? I'm not seeing the villagers right now, but maybe we'll see them soon. I don't know if that... Okay. I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing a villager trying to construct this tower. Maybe we'll see a villager go forward soon. I don't think we had a case where a villager was tasked to build it, but then got distracted. Not really see a villager getting killed. Or distracted here. But we still have the tower foundation. Maybe the tower is placed, but maybe we'll see a villager go forward once the skirmishers start going forward. So we've got a spear added by Tribal. In the meantime, Naga's got 4 archers. So if they're to fight just right now, it'd be pretty easy for the Tribal to win a skirmish here. But whether Tribal tries to add a tower here, this Naga's defensive tower is probably going to prevent that tower from going up. But we got the army from Tribal here about to hit the forage bushes. Just watching the response here. So we got some walking back and forth from Tribal. I think Naga is taking more shots, but Tribal obviously has the superior army in terms of like countering what the opponent has. Alright, this spear is ready to try and take out the scout, but Naga's doing a good job of targeting the spearmen with the skirmishers and the archers. And that scout is coming in because it thought it was safe, but now it's going back. Alright, is that spear going to... Okay, just watching the scout versus spear macro. That spearman just... Naga's not making it easy for that spearman to get close to the scout. And the spearman is down. Let's see if the scout goes in for a kill now. Looks like they're just trying to just stay in front, within the TC range. And that might be the reason why. With this many skirmishers, that's enough to kill a scout in probably like 3 or 4 hits, I think. Not exactly. It'd probably take like 4 or something like that. 13, yeah, so like 4 hits, I think. And that scout's gonna go down in a minute now. I was saying that, now that the skirmishers would move, they might be trying to attack the scout, but because of the minimum range, just not able to fire. That is one unfortunate thing with AI micro, is that if you order them to attack a scout or another unit that's within their minimum range, they don't always back up to attack it. Is something that I've noticed. So we've still got the ghost tower here not being built by Tribal. I'm curious to see if we'll see it get built eventually. We got the skirmishers running through the tower's range. So, still no villagers killed by Tribal. Naga is still slowly ahead on villagers. Yeah, these skirmishers are getting slowly whittled down, but Tribal has another group back here, as well as some archers here in the front. But the tower is just slowly killing these skirmishers off. Alright, so looks like Tribal might be trying to finally start this tower, but those villagers might not. It's like, hey, that tower, that Naga tower is pretty scary. I don't want to build a tower in front of its face. But, oh wait, maybe they're trying to build it now. But Tribal really needs to pick a better spot for it. It's going to be hard to get these villagers to finish it, but they're being very persistent. Alright, looks like Tribal is properly like taking the wall pieces away, but still kind of getting stuck trying to build that tower, even though it's not going to succeed very easily. Naga's already killed one of these builders. In the meantime, Tribal, with its micro and aggression, has killed off all of Naga's military. And Tribal's also the first to start researching Castle Age. So despite this tower not going up, the Tribal still looks like to have the upper hand. And Tribal's now killed 4 villagers. Just only lost 1 to Naga trying to build the tower. I'm gonna take a second to take a look at resources collected. Yeah, you can just tell that Tribal's getting ahead because of being able to be the aggressive player. So Tribal's just a few seconds away from Castle Age. You might see the Elite Skirmisher in the +2 range. And there we go. I predicted it. I kind of want to know what that message is supposed to mean. Second TC from Tribal. Got a stable going up for Naga. I really want to speed it up to 4 times just because that might mess up the micro a little bit. But I might do that here pretty soon. And it looks like Naga's trying to preserve the resources to get up to the Castle Age. Does Naga have a market? So it's getting a market. Might be able to buy the gold to go up to Castle Age, but it's going to be pretty hard to come back from this. Alright, Naga's got Castle HQ'd here. But I am seeing in the chat that Promi's willing to call it a loss. Yeah, so I'll call it here. At this point, even though the attack has ended, like, the Tribal's on 4 TC, so there's no way that Naga can come back from a second attack. So, we'll call the game here. So taking a look at the brackets, so the Tribal for Arena plays Cumans and Slavs, while Naga plays Lithuanians or Vietnamese. Cuman Slavs for Tribal. And then for Naga, Lithuanians, Vietnamese. Alright, starting the game. Yeah, so Tribal won the Arabian match, and since it's more the aggressive AI, that Arabia will favor an AI that can play more aggressively, but this is a more passive map, so we'll see if Naga, with a pretty good boom, can defeat Tribal here. So far the AIs are equal. We've got Tribal playing Slavs, while Naga's playing the Lithuanians. I'm curious to see if the Lithuanians will go for a relic strategy here, or if they'll just go a straight boom, or maybe do some military here. Meanwhile, I'm not exactly sure what Tribal tries to go for in Arena. I might also try to go for some sort of boom. The Slavs will be pretty good for that with their farming bonus, but I'm not sure exactly what kind of military the Tribal will go for with the Slavs. But it looks like we got a deer arena. Deer in the back for both players, which won't really matter because they're going to push them in anyway. And the relics are kind of in the middle of the map, as you'd expect. Not too slanted toward any one player. Got a lumber camp for Naga and Tribal as well. And second board is being brought in by Tribal. Well, it seems like Naga's focusing on getting the deer pushed in first. Yeah, Spyduck, I'm running the game in offline mode, the Steam offline mode, because we're running this current round of the AI tournament on the old patch rather than the patch that was just released today. We're going to give AI scripters just a few days to make sure that their AIs can work on the new patch and that there aren't any issues or bugs. So that's why the DEA looks like it's an offline, not able to connect. I assume that's what you're referring to. But I am definitely interested in seeing what the new patch looks like with the changes. We got some balance changes, but also some more controversial changes, but also some hopefully good changes to pathing. We'll see. It seems like there definitely are some positive changes, but also maybe some things that need to get ironed out. So we got Loom coming for Tribal. And Tribal's at 21 pops, so that might be a bit early to go up to Feudal Age. We'll see if Feudal Age comes next. Actually, it won't. Just looked at Tribal's food amount. Yeah, but Naga does have enough food, so it could go up to Feudal if it wanted to, but it might be a bit early for a fast castle build. And I'm curious how this farm got out here for Tribal. It doesn't look like it was tried to be built by this mill, because it's not touching it. But at least it's being gathered from. But if Naga attacks by any sort of like ranged units, that farm is going to be vulnerable. So Naga's got the main gold in the back, which will be nice. Both of Tribal's golds are somewhat forward. Second leopard camp for Tribal. Naga's already had two for a while, plus the barracks. Yeah, it's a pretty close Feudal Age times for both, but Naga's one villager ahead. I think it's, yeah, Naga skipped Loom. So that'll help with the economy, at least for a short period of time. Barracks placed down for Tribal. And I think that should get finished in time for Feudal Age. So hopefully Tribal's Archer Ranger barracks aren't delayed. But if Tribal goes for a real boom, they'll go like Market Blacksmith instead, I think. Alright, so we got an Archer range, and just like in Arabia. No Blacksmith though, doesn't have the food quite yet. Meanwhile, Naga has a Blacksmith and a stable going up right now. So I wonder if we'll see some scouts from Naga here. So Naga's the first to start researching Castle Age. Meanwhile, Tribal is struggling to get all the gold it needs. But at least Tribal's keeping the TC busy. It says canceling training for Castle Age research. I wonder if that code is just not working properly. But Castle Age just started now. We got the first Archer armor and the eco upgrades. Now I bet the eco upgrades probably could have started before Castle Age began, just because of how much food Tribal had banked up. But we got an archer from Tribal, the second archer range. And we got a monastery for Naga that he recently got up to Castle Age, second TC coming. And Naga has 2 scouts guarding the relics here. I think I had read that Naga has some scout micro to defend relics, but I haven't actually seen it in action before. I don't think I remember seeing it on the first round. Alright, we got the first monk from Naga coming to grab a relic. So we got the feudal age upgrades for the archers. We also got crossbow coming. And Tribal continuing to train archers. Alright, so we got the first relic for Naga. At this rate, Naga might be able to get all of them. We'll see what happens. It really depends on if, I think, at this point, Tribal's best hope is to actually just start attacking. So we got a third scout here from Naga defending this relic. So three monks from Naga, and a fourth one coming. Yeah, is this? I think this is the last relic remaining. So I'm pretty sure Naga will be able to get all 5, which is pretty nice for Lithuanians with get that +4 attack on the heavy cavalry. It looks like Naga's also trying to attack with those scouts. We'll see. I'm kind of curious to see how long that scout will keep on attacking. So Tribal got the +2 for the crossbows and still training them, but still keeping them defensive at the TC. In terms of eco, like Naga's getting pretty far ahead, already having all 3 TCs. Tribal just added the second one. So we'll need to see these crossbows go out and start doing some damage, or else Naga's going to get a free win. Yeah, so far that seems to be like an Arabia build order being played on Arena, which doesn't work out very well. Though at the very least, Tribal seems to be going for pure archers rather than adding skirmishers like usual. Alright, so there's the third TC. But Naga's building a fourth one. The scout's still doing just like 1 damage. Tribal's got 17 crossbows. I wonder if there's a number that it's waiting for, or if maybe it's waiting to get pop advantage. If it's the latter, that's not going to be a very good strategy, because I think Naga's going to maintain a pop advantage for a while with all of its extra villagers. But besides the 3 scouts, still no military from Naga. But with Tribal not being aggressive, it's the military numbers is not going to be too much of a problem. Yeah, I don't know if those crossbows are bugged or just that they're like keep on being given commands to sort of like patrol at the town or something like that. I think if Tribal got the permission to start attacking, then it would start doing something with them. For a second I thought we might be seeing the crossbows doing something, but not yet. So, it could be a bug, hopefully not. But I think I've seen this before with some AIs. They just like, instead of just keeping them completely idle, they keep them on like a patrol or something like that. But Naga's almost all the way to Imperial Age. And Naga got the first kill. Kind of curious what that monk was doing out here. There's no relics to pick up. I was looking back in the chat history. Tribal hasn't really chatted anything to show what it's trying to do. But we got a castle from Naga, so we might start seeing some military here. We got the second armor coming in. In a normal game, this male would be pretty scary. It's pretty vulnerable, but in this game it might be fine. Alright, looks like we might finally be seeing something here. Tribal's starting to attack right now. I wonder, just taking a look here. I wonder if Tribal had just found this mining camp, so Tribal hadn't seen any military buildings besides the walls. So that could be why Tribal's waited for so long to start attacking. Also, I think Naga reached their catch lanes a while ago. So, Tribal is not detecting some things properly here. Naga's gate is open. Let's see if Tribal can actually do some damage here. We've got a latest here from Naga. Mangonel. But it looks like Tribal... Oh, and Tribal's going outside the gate. Might have just lost a big window here, but the gate might open again soon. So we got some mangonels from Naga. Let's see if they're able to do some damage. Mango knocked down by one of the mangonels. So unfortunately for Tribal, these crossbows are retreating. It was looking scary for a moment for Naga with those crossbows inside the town. But Tribal, for whatever reason, decided to retreat and stop attacking. Maybe you notice all the mangonels and the fact that Naga was actually in Imperial Age. Which should have been obvious. AS can figure out the ages from players no matter what exploration they have. Alright, so we got Tribal. A lot of AIs in the past would have code to delete walls once they're in Imperial Age on Arena, just because of like AIs not being good at controlling when to keep the gates open and closed, and needing the extra space to build. But a lot of AIs have since removed that code on Arena, just because it wasn't really necessary. Now the crossbows keeps on running away from the mangonels, it looks like. But now that they're at the TC, let's see if they decide to go into self-defense mode and start attacking. But just like let the TC do the work for you, I guess. It'd be nice if there's some code for the villagers to knock down the mangonel here. But that's a bit more of a rare situation. Usually you don't need to have villager versus mangonel micro. Usually just villager versus ram is enough. But Naga's starting to branch out here. Okay, I was wrong. Like, Tribal's not the only one that still has the wall deleting code. Naga still has it as well. But at this point, with a couple defensive castles, it's probably not needed as much. This ram, I think, is going to go down pretty quickly. And Tribal's trying to run away from this mangonel, it looks like. And trying to remember, I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if Slavs get the last range upgrade. It looks like they don't get the bracer. So with this range advantage from the onager, Tribal might keep on trying to avoid it, which is really unfortunate because these crossbows need to move out. Maybe this Boyar could like start killing it down. Nope. Maybe these guys can do it? Okay. Alright, there we go. Now we might see these crossbows start moving out. But that's not the only onager that Naga has, I think. We do have a mangonel for Tribal, and also the elite upgrade coming in for Boyars. But Naga already has a pretty good army of skirmishers and lattice. Alright, elite upgrade is in. And lattice, don't worry about that Boyar armor at all. Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about, where sometimes AIs will just keep their soldiers patrolling, even if like they don't really have any sort of task that they're trying to assign. I'm kind of curious to see what Tribal's waiting for to get these crossbows to attack again. But at the very least, Tribal is almost at the same point economy-wise as Naga. So Naga was definitely looking to have the lead for quite a while. But at this point in the game, Naga might not have as big an advantage as he used to be. Besides the fact that Naga has all 5 relics. After a while, that's going to really start adding up when Tribal starts running out of gold. So we got 3,000 gold from this mine. I'm trying to see if Tribal has any more gold. Naga's got this gold claimed. Looks like Tribal's trying to share it. We'll see if Naga lets him. So then Tribal's got this gold. Also has a castle up here in the top. And for some reason all of Naga's villagers fled. I'm kind of surprised that Tribal hasn't tried to start destroying this TC. Alright, looks like Naga's moving forward. Let's see if... Okay, Tribal's finally knocking this TC down. But it doesn't have its armies clumped together. These crossbows need to start moving forward here, or else these warriors are all going to get knocked down. I say that, but these are mostly skirmishers here, so they might be doing fine. And all of Tribal's mangonels are destroyed. Alright, crossbows finally joined the action. Got a couple skirmisher kills from this mangonel, or onager. Alright, so let's see. Crossbow macro versus skirmisher not micro. And these militia are definitely a waste. I wonder if we're going to see man-at-arms here pretty soon from Tribal. Oh, and big onager shot here from Naga, coming off a bunch of these crossbows. So Naga is still, despite the macro from his crossbows, which are mostly dead at this point, Naga was still getting the better KD in these fights here. Just from, like, you know, they have the soldiers at multiple places at once. Plus the fact that Tribal keeps on throwing militia into the battle. So Naga's still fully boomed while Tribal's at 100 pop. So I think we've kind of seen the point where Naga's going to be able to maintain his advantage for the rest of the game. And there we go, Tribal resigns and a Naga victory. So we've got, the set is 1-1. So it's taking a look here. You got the full population. Military numbers, Tribal was ahead for quite a long time, but didn't use his army to any sort of advantage. And it might have just been due to bad exploring, if I'm correct. Just not find any of Naga's own buildings besides the walls. But Tribal should be coded so they can march forward against the walls anyway. So then you can just see Naga's economy getting way ahead of Tribal pretty much for the rest of the game. And then society, the villager population. It looks like there was a point where Tribal was ahead in villagers, but Naga's lead was just too much for Tribal to come back from. Let's take a look at these scores here.